Hey guys, welcome back to Out of Spec Bits. I'm in Universal Studios Orlando, but that's not what we're here to talk about. Rivian's autonomy platform. Rivian says that they are working on their own version of full self-driving, which is amazing to hear. And not many OEMs, if any OEMs at all, do we know of, are working on some sort of in-house autonomous system. Of course, most OEMs have some sort of software to allow hands-off driving, like Mercedes, for instance, but they are working with another company to do that. An in-house system developed by an OEM for full self-driving end-to-end. And that's what Rivian is working on. So on a recent podcast...
So today on an R1, you can get on the highway and you can take your hands off the wheel and the vehicle drives itself. That's going to expand from highways to being able to go point to point. So you get in your car in your driveway and you put in an address and it drives itself. And then we expand from there to go not just hands off, point to point, but hands off, eyes off, where you can take your hands off the wheel and eyes off the road.
Rivian CEO RJ Scaringe said that currently, right, Rivian Gen 2 vehicles, they have hands off driving on selected highways. Now, every single software update, we're seeing the amount of highways being increased, but as of right now, select amount of highways, I think it's like 300,000 miles worth of highways in North America. And that is, again, expected to increase over time. And that's hands off, but eyes on. Rivian does say next year, 2026, we will see on Gen 2 vehicles, on selected roads, hands off, eyes off on highways, which is even more exciting. That means you could probably be on your phone, no hands, while your car is driving. And that's going to be exciting. But on this podcast, again, Rivian CEO RJ Scaringe said that they will be working, they are working on an end-to-end, or right there, he said point-to-point system where Rivians drive themselves from one place to the next. And this is pretty much what Tesla's full self-driving is. And so, yeah, we have a Tesla full self-driving competitor. Now, you're probably thinking, well, Isaiah, Tesla full self-driving took years, a decade plus, to be able to drive itself on certain highways. And that is, well, correct. But I would like to call out the Bannister effect. I'm remembering that correctly, where when one company or one person does something, let's say they break some sort of record or complete some sort of impossible task, typically the next person in line to do that task does it much more efficiently, much faster. All right. For instance, I'll take Boston Dynamics. They have had their Atlas robot, their flagship robot that they use for internal testing for any of the other robots that they want to sell. So just kind of a platform for them to understand, right? Robotics, Atlas robot, that is really the pioneer of robotics. Well, Boston Dynamics has been doing Atlas program for like 30 years, 3 decades. Tesla, in a matter of 2-3 years, boom, they already have the Optimus robot, which can't do as much as Atlas, of course, we know that. But the point is, clearly, once one company does something, it's a lot easier for other companies to come behind and simply go, boom, we got this. We're able to do it much more efficiently. We know the hardware is capable, and unlike Tesla, I expect Rivian, when they introduce this Rivian full self-driving system, probably to have like LiDAR, radar, as well as, of course, vision. We know Tesla today, it's a vision-only system. So that's, just cameras. No radar is used, and that's impressive. But I think Rivian will likely take a different route. That will be a vision, radar, and LiDAR based system. And so you'll get all three different types of vehicle sensing for Rivian's full self-driving system. Now, Rivian says they have a few other autonomous features in the pipeline. For instance, Tesla's summon feature, where you're able to have a car move forward or backward out of a parking space or out of a parking lot to come to you. This is expected to come to Rivian vehicles as soon as this year. It's expected. But I do want to speak to the fact that Rivian has made promises for autonomy in the past, and those have been broken. So for instance, early on, back in like 2018, 2019, Rivian said that Gen 1 vehicles, I drive a Gen 1 R1T, those would have hands off, and I believe eyes off driving, they said as well. That never came to fruition. In fact, Gen 1 vehicles don't even have hands off. They don't have anything. They just have hands on, of course, capacitive touch, holding the steering wheel while the car drives. And of course it has automatic lane changes. Gen 2 also has that, but it's nothing spectacular. Of course, that is a broken promise, and that is a promise that has upset many Rivian owners. Me, I don't really care. But you make a promise, Rivian, you say, we're going to introduce a certain autonomous feature on Gen 1 vehicles, it's going to be capable, and then when it's not capable, you upset a lot of your customers. You upset a lot of your investors, a lot of people who were banking on the fact that this specific feature would come on this vehicle. And so I'm hoping that this is different. RJ, as you've probably heard the clip already, RJ gave no timeline. He didn't give a date. He didn't give what vehicle it's going to have, what system they're going to be using, what this is, what's that. They didn't give an idea of timeline at all. They just told us that they're working on it, which is a good thing. That lets us know that Rivian is working on their own full self-driving autonomous system. But we're not here twiddling our thumbs, waiting for an automaker to come out with a specific product at a specific deadline. Rather, we know they're working on it, and this gives us a sense of assurity that another automaker is working on full self-driving. But we're not twiddling our thumbs sitting here waiting for it to arrive. So we don't know if it's going to be Rivian Gen 3, Gen 4, if it's going to be Rivian R2. We don't know. And the fact that RJ learned from the past, and kind of like Elon, not to give specific dates, just say, hey, we are working on this, hey, we are working on that. That is a good thing to hear. But I am excited. We're having another OEM that is challenging Tesla at their own game. Because as of right now, legitimately, the only vehicle that you can buy that will have some sort of point-to-point self-driving, that would be a Tesla vehicle. And really no other vehicle in the United States, particularly North America and Europe for the most part, they don't have that. And so it's good to see that another OEM is working on this sort of program. But again, I hope Rivian comes out with this pretty soon. I expect this to start seeing some inklings of this within the next 5 years. Hopefully within the next 5 years, we will see the first R vehicles on the road with some sort of self-driving platform. Of course, we've seen on the road other Rivian vehicles that have some sort of hardware, driving hardware. In fact, just a couple weeks ago, we saw a Rivian EDV, an Amazon EDV, RCV, with a ton of driving hardware on it. So an Amazon employee was driving it, but it clearly had a bunch of data collecting hardware on it to get road data. So whether Rivian's collecting that for their own data, or this autonomous system is going to be on the Rivian vehicles and, the R vehicles, or, the Rivian Amazon EDVs, those are driving millions of miles a year collectively. Hey, you get all of that road data, continuous road data, driving the same routes, and through those same routes, of course, there's going to be minimal changes here and there. And so you collect all that data, that's going to train Rivian's system. Of course, through the world of AI and autonomy, better hardware, better computers, it's just going to make the process for Rivian to get to a full self-driving future a bit faster. But I am excited, and that's why I said, you know what? I'm here in Orlando. Let me jump on the phone really quick so I can shoot this video to kind of get my thoughts out there to see what you guys are thinking. Hopefully Rivian gives us more information about what this self-driving platform is going to look like in the future. I'm looking forward to it, but let me know what you guys think down in the comments below. My name is Isaiah. This is Out of Spec Bits, and I will see you guys in the next one.